Welcome to Good Game Radio.
Welcome to Good Game Radio. I'm your... Just restart it. Just go again. Welcome to Good Game Radio. I'm your host, Series X.
And I'm your host, Hazmatch.
We got another banger for you here today, guys. We've got Bungie and their newest Layoffs and some controversy wrapping around Assassin's Creed.
Ooh.
Grab your popcorn, sit back, relax. We are heading on down to the game zone.
Game zone.
What's going on, Hazmatch? How you been, buddy?
Doing pretty good, my friend. How are you?
Another day in paradise.
Sounds good. So, just to get us started off on the right foot, we are going to be doing a new segment on the podcast. Essentially, it's going to be our bullet points segment. So this is just going to be me reading off a list of announcements, etc. Just things we don't really feel the need to spend all that much time on, but we just want to give you guys some quick news, and maybe you find what you're looking for and you leave, or whatever the case. So, we don't have very many today, but our first bullet point: Stormgate, Black Myth Wukong, Concord, Star Wars Outlaws, and Smite 2 all released this month. There's other ones too, but those are the biggest titles coming out. Also in this month, and already released, Star Wars Bounty Hunter Remastered is officially dropped. And then last but not least, Lollipop Chainsaw Repop, and this is old news, but this is going to come out September 25th, 2024.
Well, I can definitely say, just based off of a few of those, the Star Wars Bounty Hunter Remastered, excited to play that one.
Yes, super excited to play that one.
That was one that I played as a kid. Loved everything about it. And then, of course, we heard that it was being remastered, so can't wait to... I'm probably going to play it after this, not going to lie.
Yeah, well, and it's cheap too, $20. Just came out, it's only $20.
I am good for it. So, all right, so let's talk about Bungie. So the biggest news in Bungie today is they have laid off 220 people from the company. Now, of course, Pete Parsons, who came out and announced this the other day, stated that most of the layoffs were from the leadership and the executive side of the company. Now, whether that's true or not, we'll never know. Of course, they're not going to tell you that.
Right.
But he did state that it was based off of rising costs, some industry shifts, and the other issue, of course, is the economic conditions that we live in now. Which, honestly, I believe that with how the world is today, does not surprise me by any sort of stretch. So, just to give you a little bit more on the numbers aspect of this, 220 of those roles, that represents 17% of their studio workforce.
Holy crap.
Yeah, so they got rid of a good fraction of people. Now, they did state that it was difficult to make this decision, especially, of course, following the success of their Destiny: The Final Shape, which, of course, if you have not played that, definitely try it out. I hear it's fantastic. I'm not entirely sure. I do not play Destiny anymore, but I did hear it was a lot better than their previous expansion, which was Lightfall. So they stated that there was two other major changes that also occurred on the same day of the layoffs, that they also wanted to let everybody know. Their focus is going to be shifting, and they are also going to be working even more with Sony Interactive Entertainment moving forward. So the focus shift is going to be on just Destiny and Marathon. Those are the two big things that they are now just going to be having their whole time focus on. They, Pete Parsons stated that they're going to be moving a lot of leadership around to put more focus on these things, especially, of course, with the success of their recent DLC. Now,
so
as for Marathon,
Marathon still exists?
Apparently, I read that and I was like, what? But apparently there's a Marathon too. apparently that's what they're going to be coming out with. Now, I don't know how truthful that is. I don't know if it's already out. I really don't know the marathon aspect of Bungie, because when I hear Bungie, I hear Destiny. That's it.
Yeah, for sure.
Again, the other thing is that they are also working with Sony Interactive, and they are integrating 155 additional roles. So not just the 220, but an additional 155 roles are going to be moving from Bungie to Sony Entertainment in the next coming quarters. So the 220 is not where they haven't even stopped there. They're still continuing with, but with this, they're not laying the people off. They're like, okay, we've got to do something. We can't just lay off, 375 people.
Yeah.
So let's do 220 and let's get 155 over to Sony.
Golly, man.
Right. So the other big thing is, of course, they're going to try to lighten the load of the heavy decision that they made by stating that they're going to start working on one of their incubation projects. Which, of course, for those of you who don't know what an incubation project is, it's one of those where they kind of have an idea, a project of some sort, and they kind of just stash it away for a little bit. They kind of see how other games are holding up, how other things are doing, and then they may go back and revisit that project. So they are stating that they are going to go ahead and start working on one of their projects, which apparently is supposed to be an action game set in like a science fantasy universe. I was like, okay, so everything else you're already doing, whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, but Pete Parsons did state that he wanted to be kind of open and honest with how all this came to be, and I want to share a little bit of that information with you guys. I'm not going to go over the entire thing, but to make things kind of short, over the past 5 years, it has been a goal of Bungie to ship their games to 3 very large global franchises. They have, of course, this very high ambition of what they wanted, what their goal was going to be, but unfortunately, it just did not get to that point.
Yeah. Sounds
about
right.
Because of this, they realized that the model that they had in their head stretched the talent of those that worked in Bungie to the max, was not getting the results that they were hoping for. So with that, they decided that now they are going to, of course, just have that focus of Destiny and Marathon. Also, in 2023, because of the rapid expansion that Bungie was trying to do, but with, of course, again, economic conditions, with how our economy is, there was a huge slowdown in 2023. Again, with Lightfall coming out, and it just didn't really do well. A lot of the player base kind of dropped off. A lot of problems came into play with Bungie, and it took a toll. It took a really big toll for them.
Makes sense.
So that was why what they did was they turned around and they put a lot of focus on the final shape, which I hear was pretty good.
Yeah.
But
Destiny fans will let you know if it's not good, and I've been hearing it is good too, so that's a good sign.
Financially, they could not keep up, and they started going overboard, and they started to lose money rather than make the money. So because of that specific reason, they had to shift to something else. They had to change what they were doing to avoid, and they apparently, from what Pete said, is that they tried everything that they could to avoid laying people off. We all know how big corporate businesses are, even if it is in gaming industry. Is that really the case? Is it really not the case? We don't know. You have your opinions on it. I have my opinions on it. At the end of the day, 220 people lost their jobs. That's awful.
Yeah, that's horrible.
They've got families. They've got, bills to pay, mouths to feed. It's a very difficult time. And I will have to say that on the corporate end of things, that is still a difficult decision to make. I mean, you don't want to sit there and have to let somebody go, let alone 220 people.
Yeah.
Luckily, the good news when it comes to those people that were let go, they weren't just saying, hey, you're done, see you later. They did what they could. They did give each person a very extensive severance package. So hopefully that at least gets those families by in the meantime for them to be able to find something else to keep their,
keep their lights on.
right. So hopefully that does, my sincerest condolences out to the families that did lose their jobs, and to the workers that did. And with how Bungie has been, it is still a great company. They still make great games, and it really sucks to have to hear that people have lost their jobs, especially because of the fact of how the economy is nowadays.
Yeah, amen to that.
Bungie's in a bit of a challenging time, of course, as we all can kind of. But of course, there are still 850 team members that are working on Destiny and Marathon. So get that. That's their shift. That's how many people are working on those projects. 850 people.
Yeah, that's a number. That is a big number.
They stated that their focus right now is to make sure that they please the player base, the experiences that the players have, and their expectations, of course. But of course that they are supporting the current employee base right now. Apparently they are going to keep their communication open with every employee that they have there when it comes to meetings, whether those are big group company meetings, whether it's a private meeting, whatever the case is. It definitely sounds like Pete Parsons is trying to keep open communication with the rest of his team, because of course, you work in a big company and you hear 220 people got laid off. My first thought is going to be, crap, I'm next. Is my job in jeopardy?
So just to round this topic off with a little bit of humor, I saw a very interesting article. Now, I'm only going to read the headline, and it's just humorous to me, really. It's from PC Gamer, so who knows how reputable this is. But it reads, former Bungie devs show fury and sorrow over layoffs following the revelation that CEO Pete Parsons, so Pete, main man Pete, Petey Boy, Petey Parsonius, that guy allegedly spent at least $2 million on vintage cars in the past 2 years. So the funny part about this is they have all these layoffs, but the CEO's out there building his Matchbox collection. What the fuck is that? What is this?
I don't care who you are. If you're sitting there paying more money to buy personal shit for yourself rather than paying your employees, or had the ability to pay your employees, your priorities are jacked up.
Oh my goodness. I read this and cackled out loud. I just couldn't.
That is crazy. Well, hopefully we'll see what's next in store for Bungie. I know the Final Shape was apparently their last DLC for Destiny, so the fact that their focus is still going to stay on Destiny, that puts into question, is there going to be a new Destiny, Destiny 3? Are they, what's the next steps for Bungie because of all this?
Yeah,
I guess we will have to wait and see.
Hopefully they've got some stuff in the pipe now, because they're gonna need it. Well, with that being said, I guess we can go ahead and move into topic number 2.
Take it away, buddy.
All right, so Assassin's Creed. So there's been some controversy in the Assassin's Creed community. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to summarize the events as I know them, and then we can get into our personal thoughts on the subject afterward. But bear with me. I'm going to be yapping for a second. So, the story goes, Assassin's Creed fans and people of Japanese descent are up in arms right now because of the main character, who's known as Yasuke. So the main character is based off of a figure that is prominent in Japanese lore throughout like folk tales and all that. Although most of his deeds were lost to history. That is to say, we don't know a lot about Yasuke or his life, really. We just know that he was real. Well, Ubisoft decided to make Yasuke one of 2 main characters in their game. You can switch between him, or there's like this ninja ninja lady that you can play as. This is fine, considering Yasuke has been in other gaming media before, so there's no issue with that. The problem is that they also claimed that the game was historically accurate. Now, if you've played any Assassin's Creed beforehand, you know that, yes, while the setting may be historically accurate, maybe even a few like figures that were in history, they're never actually historically accurate. It's very small things. You're literally an assassin jumping off of towers into bales of hay and surviving. Like this is not, it's not historically accurate. But Ubisoft was really gunning for the fact that this one would be historically accurate. So that's what people were expecting. Now, as you can imagine, they got Yasuke going and doing a whole bunch of stuff that is not founded in fact. Based on, I mean, for one, we don't know much about the guy, and now they're saying that he did things that he just did not do. This is partially due to something I'll get into here in a second. But this has many gamers upset, especially those in Japan, because they feel as though their history is being tampered with for nefarious reasons. On top of this, and this is the point that I was just mentioning, the guy who wrote the infamous book titled African Samurai, which is a book written specifically about Yasuke. This was supposed to be a historically factual written piece all about this character, this guy, and turned out he was a fraud. Turns out he made pretty much all of it up and has since been shunned by co-workers and peers. So all this to say, because there's been a lot of argument on which side you're on this whole thing, I'm going to tell you right now that I have thought that Assassin's Creed has been absolute dog shit since Black Flag. I tried to get into Valhalla because I like Vikings, and the most fun part of that game was Orlog, which is a pub game within the game. So it's not really not a whole lot to say there. It just sucks. It's big and full of shit that nobody wants to do. It's just not the Assassin's Creed that we know and love. To round this off, Ubisoft got caught in what I find to be a hilarious situation on Twitter. They posted pictures of some items and captioned it something along the lines of "Can't wait for you to find this stuff in game" or something like this. But one of the pictures was a photograph of a sword owned by Zoro from One Piece. This is hilarious because this shows that they have no idea what they're doing when it comes to historically accurate. They have a sword from an anime, an IP they don't own. They posted a picture of it just because they probably, I don't know, went to Google Images and typed in katana and posted that shit up and said, "Can't wait for you to use this in the game." Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, Ubisoft? Those are the facts as I know them about this whole thing. It's a whole lot of drama. Like I said before, Assassin's Creed has been horseradish to me for a long time, so it's not necessarily a story that hits close to home. But with the current climate of things, I can definitely see why people would be upset, because there most certainly are nefarious goals here. But anyway, that's my spiel. So how do you feel, Sirius? What's your thoughts on that?
I have to say one thing, and this is going to spark a whole different thing. You said that Assassin's Creed has been shit since Black Flag. Are you saying Black Flag was terrible?
No, I'm saying Black Flag was the last good one.
Just want to make sure
I would
that
never
we have that, because when you said it earlier, I was like, man, there's going to be so many people that are pissed.
No, Black Flag is the last good one.
I was going to say Black Flag was the best. I was going to be like, man. I do agree, though. I think that Assassin's Creed's one of those games. It's like Call of Duty. It's like Halo. It's the same thing over and over again. Now, granted, I'm not saying that the same thing over and over again is a bad thing.
Right.
But for some players, it can get old. Like, for instance, Call of Duty. I enjoy Call of Duty. Doesn't matter which one it is, I'll play it. Assassin's Creed, I won't. The last Assassin's Creed that I played that I truly enjoyed was Unity. Now I've played Black Flag, I've played Revelations, I've played all the original ones. But the last one that I remember playing was Unity, and that one was a lot of fun to me. But
That was cool. You had the co-op.
the rest
in it
the rest I just have not been interested in. Valhalla looked kind of cool, but the only thing I didn't like about Valhalla was the fact that they tried to make it very relatable to God of War. That was my issue. And going based off of how Bungie has been, it does not surprise me that it's
Ubisoft.
Sorry, Ubisoft. let me back that up. And in all honesty, with how Ubisoft is, it does not surprise me that this is occurring. It doesn't.
Yeah.
Ubisoft has been on a downhill spiral for years.
Just releasing stinker after stinker after stinker.
It's terrible. I think
Poor
the only good
monetization
one,
practice.
the only title recently that I have found enjoyment in, the only one that I have found enjoyment of that's been a recent title for Ubisoft was X Defiant. I've enjoyed X Defiant a lot. I believe that it is a little bit different. It's kind of the same, but also a little bit different in its own way. I do like the fact that they use a lot of the groups from different Ubisoft games as you have like Echelon and all that kind of
Dead
things.
Sex in it.
Dead Sex. Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. So I do have to say that game in itself was good. But that's one of, 10,000 that they've come out with that have just been terrible.
Yeah.
I don't, this whole issue with Assassin's Creed, and I can see why people are pissed. I can see why they're upset.
Apparently the misinformation is so bad that the Japanese government is actually getting involved.
Wow.
Now, because I guess the story of Yasuke has, went around the world, of course, for obvious reasons, but the misinformation is so bad that now, the Japanese government is officially stepping in and trying to get to the bottom of it. And I think that was either what led to, or definitely has significance to Thomas Lockley, who wrote that book, getting outed as a fraud and basically shunned from his whole life, pretty much, because he was a historian. He absolutely was, and he fabricated an entire book just to sell the book.
Unfortunately, Ubisoft just doesn't make games like they used to.
They don't make games like they used to. They don't make good decisions at all. They just don't. Ubisoft just don't, or won't. I couldn't tell you which, but it's one of the two.
It's just one of those things in the world of gaming now where, these big gaming companies that did a lot for our childhood, gave us the games that they did, really helped.
It was a golden era, because every game that got announced, you were excited for, even if they were games you weren't so much interested in. Now it's just shoveling so much crap onto your screen that you just kind of become desensitized to what good games are supposed to be, which are fun. Games are supposed to be fun, but they've been shoveling and peddling so much bullshit to us as gamers, and because it's what we get, we buy it anyway. Or at least a lot of us do. I've become very stingent on what I spend my money on. If I don't have very solid reason to believe it's good or is going to be good, I'm not worried about it. I don't care what IP it's from. It's just another story in a sea of shite. Ironically, as this is going on, I'm pretty sure a couple days ago the Xbox 360 online marketplace was officially shut down.
It was. I did hear about that.
Yep. So
that breaks my heart.
Yeah, the official end of an era.
Breaks my heart. So, besides Nintendo, excluding Nintendo, the Xbox 360 was the first console I ever got. Don't get me wrong, I had played on, the original PlayStation, the original Xbox, PlayStation 2 and all that, but actually physically owning a console, my first console excluding Nintendo was an Xbox 360. So to hear that they shut down the marketplace, all I thought of in that moment was my childhood.
It was basically your main gateway into gaming.
It was. It was. And I mean, you had, sticking on the topic of Ubisoft, you had games like Splinter Cell, Watch Dogs. I mean, you had all these solid game titles.
Well, I don't think
And
Watch
now look
Dogs
where
was
we're
till
at.
the Xbox One, but
It
I
wasn't.
think
You're right. It wasn't. But just talking about Ubisoft titles, whether it was 360, whether it was the Xbox One, they were solid.
right.
Now
Yeah,
look,
100%.
now look what we got.
Bunch of bullshit.
We got Assassin's Creed that can't figure out what the main character is supposed to be.
Like simple things, you know? Be smart with your money. That is the lesson to be
Please.
learned here. Be smart with your money. If it smells like shit, looks like shit, it's probably just fine. No, I'm just kidding though. It's probably shit. We we got to do better. We as consumers have to do better. And I will say this, I don't want to get on nobody's nerve. I'm not trying to tell you what to do with money you worked for, but we got to be smarter than this. Because the only way they're going to continue, Ubisoft, any of these companies, the only way they're going to continue spitting in our faces is if we keep just taking it on the chin and saying thank you for it. Do not buy crap. I mean, we all know streamers, we all know a YouTuber, and we know that they, regardless of what they say, are going to buy it. So let them buy it, watch them play it, get their opinion, see what you think about it, look up trailers, gameplay footage, do research on these products you're going to buy. Because if you don't, you're going to keep buying stuff that you don't have fun playing, because it's not made to be fun, it's made to make you spend more money. That's the climate we're in right now. So buy Elden Ring, buy 3 copies of Elden Ring, and let's get ourselves back to a golden era. We can't go back, but we can go forward, and we can create a new. Let's show these companies that we're not fucking pay pigs. And that is my rant. It's my rant for the day.
Buy 3 copies of Elden Ring. Give 1 to Hazmatch. Give 1 to myself. Keep the 3rd. We're all solid.
We're all good.
I already have Elden Ring, but I agree. What's also the best part, because I know we talked about it in our last episode when it came to the Game Pass, is there are a lot of Ubisoft games on the Game Pass.
There are.
And I think that also is a good kind of way of finding out for yourself. Is it a good game? Is it not a good game? You know it's going to be a bad game when the game releases, and within a month of the game's release, it's already on
Game
the
Pass.
Xbox store for 90% off.
Or not.
Breakpoint. Excuse me. So
Breakpoint.
yeah, it can be bad, but I definitely agree with do your research. But here again, as a gamer, don't, if you personally find the game interesting, do not let other sources, ratings, critics, whoever, tell you to not get the game because it's terrible.
100%.
If you honestly want to play a game because you find it interesting, play the game. You make that determination afterwards. Did you like the game? Did you not like the game? That is what it means to truly be a gamer. You don't listen to anybody else. You just play the games that you like, that you have fun with, and that you enjoy on a daily basis. That is what the true meaning of a gamer is. Well, like I said, we only had 2 topics for today. However, I do want to do a 3rd topic, and this is more of a surprise topic. Hazmatch has no idea that I was going to bring this one up.
Yeah.
But I would like to bring up a game. I would like to talk about a specific game. A game that I have played, a game that I have enjoyed. One that I would love to recommend everybody try out. It is a free to play download. It is a PC game. The game that I'm referring to is called Potion Maze. Now let me tell you about this game. Actually, I will let the creator talk to you about this game. Hazmatch, why don't you tell us a little bit about your game that you came up with?
Alright, put me on the spot, but we're going to have a nice recovery. Had us in the first half, not going to lie. But here's half number 2. Potion Maze is a... How would I define Potion Maze? It's a maze crawler. The entire goal of the game is you are a character who is spawned in front of a wizard. The wizard requests your help to get the game over potion. so that he can feed it to his glowing orb, but it's apparently a living creature, and give it sustenance so it can grow and, I guess, fully transform to what it's going to be. So what happens when you get the game over potion, I can't tell you, because that's part of the end game. But the bulk of the gameplay is you're going through these mazes, you're looking through chests, you're getting items, you're getting loot, all that good gimme type of gameplay that some people like. And you can fight some enemies. I've recently added enemies. There's been a lot since Sirius last played that I've updated, including like the camera angles, and a whole lot's changed to make it more arcadey, because that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a fun little arcadey mage crawler. It's nothing crazy. But he is right. It is free to play. It is on itch.io. You can find us at Retro Brine Games, and it's the only game we have up right now. So you just click on our profile, and there it is.
Now, the whole reason why I wanted to bring this topic up was not because I wanted to put Hazmatch on the spot or to boost his game ratings or anything like that. I truly wanted you all to know that everybody starts out small. You start out with a small little projects and you continue to work on them. One day in the future, you become as big as Bungie or big as Ubisoft, something like that. I wanted to bring this up because, one, I personally truly enjoy the game. It is definitely a spin on gaming as a whole, because it gives you that, as you said, kind of the old retro feel of games. The graphics aren't, spontaneous. But it's not supposed to be. The controls in the game are very simplified, which I'm okay with that. I love that. The game is solid, and the fact that, one, the feedback that Hazmatch has gotten, and the fact that he has taken that feedback and put it into his game is solid, because he listens to the player base. And he does what he can to make this game a lot of fun. So if you guys do have a PC, I definitely recommend that you check this game out. It's a lot of fun. Give your feedback on it. He does update it as much as he can. I'm actually really excited because you said that you put enemies in the game, which when I played it, there was not.
Yeah. There's quite a few mechanics that are getting introduced, and there's going to be a lot of rebalancing, and I gotta come up with items to find and all this other stuff. But this push into, because it's an early access right now, this push into a full release is hopefully going to be a very nice one.
I'm really excited for it. So I will go ahead and we will put the link in the description for this video. So if you guys definitely want to go check it out, just go ahead and click on that link. You guys are good to go. But other than that, that was all I wanted to bring up. I think we had some great topics today. Again, I know this wasn't kind of a long one like we normally do, but there are going to be times where that happens. We may not just have enough topics to really talk about, but we do want to make sure that you guys are kept informed as much as possible with any new updates in the gaming world that come out today. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and a comment. Hit that subscribe button to make sure you never miss out on an episode. I'm Sirius X.
And I'm Hazmatch. And this is Good Game Radio.